Hi, in this session, let's learn about water, which is considered as the elixir of life. Water is so important for our survival that when we need to find out if there is life on other planets, we search for water. Why is water so important? And what makes water so special, which is not there in any other element or compound? Every cell is made up of at least 60% of water inside. It might be in the form of cytoplasm or nucleoplasm and is a fundamental requirement for the cell to carry out all its functions. In fact, a cell which does not have its own cytoplasm, the virus, is not considered as a living organism, it's considered as a particle. Water is so important. This is the medium where many reactions takes place, be it photosynthesis, be it digestion, be it absorption or even transportation. Why is water so important? What makes water so different from other molecules or compounds? We see that water is considered as a universal solvent, which means to say that it can dissolve many substances that we see around, be it ionic compounds like salts, sodium chloride, or even covalent compounds like ethanol. These readily get dissolved in water. We also see that certain large compounds like starch might not get completely dissolved in water but would form colloids. It's because of this that water, a universal solvent, is so essential for our existence. Water is called as universal solvent because of one property which water exhibits, and that is its polar nature. Water has unequal distribution of charges. Towards the oxygen end, we see that it carries a slightly higher negative charge, whereas towards the hydrogen, we see that it carries a slightly positive charge. So, the bond between oxygen and hydrogen in a water molecule is a polar covalent bond. One more reason why water is so important is because this is considered as an excellent transport medium. Why is this an excellent transport medium? It is because it is one of the best solvents that we see. We see that ionic compounds, covalent compounds, larger molecules, smaller molecules, all of these can get dispersed in water, and water is fluid at room temperature and does not show very high viscosity or even very low viscosity, because of which behaves as an excellent transport medium. We have seen that water is so important for life to exist. In fact, many organisms will survive inside these water bodies, be it oceans, seas, rivers, ponds, and so on. This is because of one more property of water, which is that it cools to 4 degrees, and at that point of time it has maximum density. When it cools further, we see that the molecules of water are more widely spaced and therefore it becomes less denser, and therefore ice floats on water. Now, ice, when it floats on water, behaves as a insulating layer and thus prevents the water which is present below it to freeze. Also, we see that ice melts quite quickly at its top, and this helps the organisms to survive in water where the temperature might go to very cold freezing temperatures. One more important feature of water is that it has a very high specific heat capacity. Now, what is specific heat capacity? To understand in biological terms, we can say that this is very slow to absorb or even release heat. That is because of the presence of hydrogen bonds between the molecules. Water is a polar molecule. Oxygen, having a slight negative charge of one molecule, attracts the slightly positive charge which is present on the hydrogen on another atom, and this results in the formation of a hydrogen bond. The hydrogen bond between the molecules makes it very difficult for us to separate the molecules. Let's remember that individual hydrogen bond is a weak force. However, our water molecules are many and the number of hydrogen bonds are also many, and therefore the temperatures of large bodies of water, say lakes or seas, will not change much throughout the year, because of which it makes a good habitat for living organisms. Water cannot be compressed because it's a liquid, and this is very important and a governing factor to carry out various hydraulic mechanisms in living organisms, be it water moving from the root to the shoot, or be it blood moving in our arteries and veins. Because of the presence of hydrogen bonds, water molecules also exhibit another force of attraction, and that force is what we call as cohesion and adhesion. We see that there is a force of attraction between the water molecules themselves, because of which the molecules will stick together. This force is what we call as the cohesive force. This is a very important force which keeps the water to move along the xylem or the arteries and veins. Similarly, we also see that these water molecules have attraction to other molecules, be it solute, particles, or air surfaces, and so on. This also is very important for life to be as it is. I'm sure you would have noticed few insects and birds which keep moving on the water. They slide through on the surface of the water, and that is because of high surface tension we see in the molecules. This surface tension is created because of the attraction between the water molecules, which includes covalent bonds in the water molecules and also the hydrogen bonds, and it is also because of this water molecules interacting with the air. So what you see is basically a very thin surface on the water surface, which helps all these marine organisms to survive very well. So these characteristics of water is something which we do not see in any other compound or a molecule. So let's write the structure of water molecule and how it looks like. Water molecule is made up of two hydrogen atoms and one oxygen atom, represented as H2 and O. H, O and H is joined by covalent bond. The angle between H, O and H is 104.5 degrees, which is very close to a tetrahedron, a regular tetrahedron. This makes it a very stable molecule. We see that this is a polar molecule. There is attraction between various water molecules that are present, and now we see that the oxygen atom of one water molecule will attract the hydrogen of another water molecule, resulting in a weak electrostatic force of attraction, which results in the formation of hydrogen bonds. It is because of the presence of hydrogen bonds and the angle of 104.5 degrees, which makes water a very special molecule. It is because of these reasons that water gets all the characteristics that we just described, and is considered as a very essential component for sustenance of life. Thank you.